skeleton cube. I'm going to because, to be honest, Charge Blade is the most complicated weapon in the entire game. So, I thought I might as well cover it, as in a soon video, you're going to be seeing Cube try out the Switch Axe. JK, I mean Charge Blade. So, first of all, the whole basis of the Charge Blade, you just want to do a lot of triangle attacks until you reach that state. And then you want to hold down circle, which would get you to these orangey red at the top. Then, you'd store it using guard and charge files. Okay, then next you want to upgrade your shield. So you want to R2, and then at the last second, just before the animation shows up, you press the guard button. And then you get your files back. Power up your sword. So you do the same thing with charging the files, but this time you hold it down. Oh no. So you hold it down to upgrade it. So now you're basically at full lightning mode. Then you can perform the only elemental discharge. So you do the same combination of being triangle plus circle. Let's go a bit further this time, just so that would... This attack can do a lot of damage. Okay, say, and there's one more mode with Switch Axe. Apart from, of course, you have Axe mode. For this, I would not recommend using Axe mode in normal combat. Because Axe mode mostly relates to another mode to do Axe mode. So, as you do to charge up the shield, you do the combo, then just as you're doing this, but this time, you're going to press L2. So then you can pull off an even stronger version, which you do circle, 3 circles, into an even stronger amped elemental discharge. Now, if you want to use, so you have the basic combos for the base weapon. But there's one thing you need to know about Charge Blade. Your sword and shield power up will go down, which can be quite annoying. So, yeah, so you have the normal attacks, but here if you have axe, you can do a lot of just average triangle axe attacks. Then you can also go into outer elemental discharge by using the same combo of 3 with a fully charged blade axe. This one will be better for more starting damage, but worse for the ending damage. And you can see the best version of this is Amped Elemental Discharge with Savage Axe. See, that would do the most damage due to the lightning effect after it. Another thing you should know is that there's the different types of Charge Blade, because as you see here, we have an impact file charge blade. So more of its slicey attacks will do more damage and do more kind of like bluntish damage. Whereas another type of switch axe you can get, for example, there's another one. It's called Elemental. Like, also here's another example of another very strong switch axe called the Dante Devil Sword. It's a you get it from Event Quest. Personally, I prefer this one due to the element on it. The one you saw before is from Shadow Isvalda, the final boss of Iceborne. That one's not too great, but it's good if you want to just start off. Whereas you want things like Alatrion stuff or Fatalis, or heck, this Dante Devil Sword is still really good. Think about this. Charge Blade mostly focusing on raw damage. Being one of the more complicated weapons, it does raw damage more than elemental, but using elemental charge blades are still good. So that's what you're seeing here. I'm using Thunder Element charge blade, and if you're wondering, here is my build: 7 defense boost with defense charm, Thunder Attack, Weakness Exploit, Agitator, Health Boost, Heroics, Vedic Extender, Cover Up, Handicraft, Blast Resistance, and Fortify. You do not need Heroics, Blast Resistance, or Evade Extender. Those are all just byproducts of the build. And if you would like to see what piece of armor I'm using Rajang Headpiece, a buff chest, a Brachydios Arms, Arts Damiel Waistline, and to finish it off you have a Furious Rajang Legs. So, shall we go put this in an actual hunt? I think we shall. Another thing to take of note of Charge Blade is that it can be tedious to play due to having all the I need to charge my files and everything. So I'd recommend the Charge Blade for anyone who likes Sword and Shield type weapons, of course, but also people who don't really want to focus on the monsters and want to just focus on like fighting and the actual gameplay itself. Whereas if you want to like admire the scenery or something, you may want, and the monster and its attacks and stuff, you may want to use something like Greatsword, quite a hit and run weapon. So let's go into a quest. Also, Charge Blade is actually, unlike Longsword where it's better solo, Charge Blade is actually quite effective with a team, due to getting all the knockdowns, and then from the knockdowns you get to pull off Super Anti-Elemental Discharge. And who doesn't like doing that? I'm just gonna alter something quickly. Do that. Let's go eat, and we shall get into the hunt. I'd like to say another note, the episode 3 of the series of me helping Cube through the world expansion, getting him prepared for Iceborne, is the internet cut out halfway through the recording of it, so, and Cube is still yet to delete it. So episode 3 will be reposted, but most likely is a different thing. Also, another one I like to use Stygian Zenoga switch axe. Probably not one of the best, but it's effective. It's more of a weapon that you just play if you want to play. Just charge blade. It's decent overall. Again, if you're not using the right build, like say I am, here, the charge blade builds are more complicated than most. Like you need to think of vile attack. You need to think about keeping the files up, time on them. The overall aspect of the amount of skills you wouldn't usually use on a normal build. So I'd admit, I'm really good at making builds for certain types of weapons because I play them a lot. Switch axe not being one of them. But I can use every weapon, so I've taken my time to learn how to use all of them. As you can see, we're in more of a low master rank hunt here. Mostly because charge blade, I will admit, isn't one of my best weapons. Now I'd play it, but not the weapon I'd go out and like farm a monster with it. Like for that, I'm more of a personally I would prefer something like hammer. Or great sword or long sword. So while we find this monster, I'm also going to discuss another topic, being the new Monster Hunter games coming out. And I would like you to try to inform what you think about the one thing that has kind of set off quite a lot of people about the game, it only being on Switch. Like Monster Hunter World, being the 5th generation of Monster Hunter games, because originally the Monster Hunter games came out on all handheld things, like Wii U, PSP, that kind of stuff. So here, I want your opinion on if you think they should keep it as Switch only, or stream it to mainstream consoles as well. Yeah, so that is Charge Blade. Again, nice weapon. Oh, it's strong when used correctly, but if used wrong, you're doomed. So again, similar build, just with dragon attack this time. So, also if you want to have a copy of this build, well, you know the armor piece and you know the sets. And another thing to take into account is I use this build for most weapons. I just like might change the element or something, or like say I don't want weakness exploit, like I always do, but say I don't want that, just swap out those 3 jewels for something else, so on and so forth. So that's about it, guys. I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.